And welcome back. The next set of questions comes from Inazuma8. And the first question is, what video game based off of an anime is your favorite? Currently, right now, my favorite anime-based video game has gotta be Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3. That game is freaking awesome. I love it. It's flawless as far as I'm concerned. That game is beautiful. It's one of the best fighting games I've ever played, and by God, it is the best Dragon Ball Z game I've ever played. I just love it. It improved everything that was wrong with our Budokai 2 and just went crazy with it. It was insane. I love that game. That and I can kick so much ass using Trunks in that game. Question number 2. Speaking of space, are you into progressive rock metal genres? And if so, what are some of your favorite artists from that genre? Well, the answer to that one is actually really freaking simple. Yes, I do like progressive rock. Some of my favorite bands, definitely some of the early bands at least, would have to be like Pink Floyd, Jethro Tull, and Yes. That's be some of my favorites. And then, of course, there's even more of the bands I've looked over the years. You know, the progressive rock went on and actually almost died at one point and came back. Of course, there's things like the Electric Light Orchestra. Of course, that's they're a little different, but I still like them. And as of late, there are like my latest progressive rock band that is quite possibly one of my favorite bands has got to be Dream Theater. They are fantastic. I love Dream Theater. Their album, Scenes from a Memory, is by far one of my favorite albums that has been released by most anybody. I love that one. Question number 3. Do you think Avenger Croc is Sir's business? Well, of course I think Avenger Croc is Sir's business. Can't you tell with the way I'm treating the guy with all the sarcasm and everything else, and subscribing to his channel and favoriting his videos? Avenger Croc is nothing more than a troll, and he's a fun troll. You know, that's how he is. That's how it is. Just don't even worry about the guy. He can't do anything. He's just a troll. He's a really pathetic troll on top of that, and yet some people are still falling for him. But no, he's not serious business or anything like that. Number 4, do you like to read? And if so, what are some of your favorite novels or books? Yes, I do like to read. Some of my favorite novels would have to be things like the Harry Potter series, the Dark Tower series, by Stephen King. Let's see, what else? There's Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. I love that book. That book is awesome. I love it. They should make that into a movie someday and actually, do it justice. And here you go. Here's a book series for people and women who are wanting or people who turn into giant wolves instead of actual werewolves. And I might sound kind of gay for saying this one. The Women of Otherworld series by Keely Armstrong is a fantastic series. I like it. It's actually good in comparison to, say, Twilight. It's actually a good series. Question number 5. Personality-wise, what fictional character do you think you fit best besides Dr. Stein? I'd actually like to say my original avatar for TOG Reviews, Laharl. For the sole fact that, well, at least for the professor's perspective, the persona that I put out whenever I'm doing the professor is someone who is more callous, doesn't care as much what other people want and what other people think, who's more worried about himself. And to that extent, Laharl is perfect for it. So yeah, that's another character I think that fits quite well. My next set of questions come from Simply Mason Zero. What is the worst game you've ever played? As of late, the worst game I've ever played has got to be a game for the PlayStation 2 called Chaos Wars. This game was something that I was really excited about when it was coming out. When I heard about it, I was like, oh my god, I've got to get this game. It was a crossover between a bunch of different RPG series that I played and I loved. And one of them was Shadow Hearts, which is a fantastic PlayStation 2 RPG. If you haven't played it, go play Shadow Hearts. But I heard about it coming out, and the second it came out, or the day it came out, I went to GameStop, picked it up for $45, I believe. 2 days later, I was back in GameStop selling it. It was a horrible game. The biggest turnoff for that game was the voice acting. It is some of the worst voice acting I have ever heard in a video game. And the saddest part is, it had the option for switching over to Japanese voice acting in-game, and that didn't help it, because the Japanese voice acting was bad as well. So, just going by that it is a game that I turned in and sold back 2 days after I bought it. That's quite possibly the worst video game I have ever played. Next question. Why do you call yourself the Professor? Oh, well, that's a pretty simple question. Pretty simple answer to come up with. The reason I call myself the Professor is because back when I first started doing videos, and I've answered this once on TOG Reviews, but I'll go ahead and do it again. Back when I first started doing videos, I was doing reviews under the name of That One Guy, which is where TOG comes from. Me and my buddies were sitting around watching a pre-production review I did of Wanted. And in that review, I was explaining everything. There was nothing I didn't explain, which meant that the review was excessively long. And my buddy Timmy turned to me and said, "Dude, why are you calling yourself That One Guy? Just call yourself the Professor and be done with it, because you explain too much crap." And I liked the name, and from that day forward, it's just stuck as a good stage name for me, if you will. And that's what I've kept. That's why I've been calling myself the Professor, is because my buddy Timmy suggested it for my reviews, and ever since then I've just kept it. Because I like it. I think it's a pretty cool stage name, if you will. Next set of questions comes from Michael Schomer. And he asks, question number 1, aside from Game Dude, who do you think are the best and worst reviewers you have seen, and why? Best reviewers I've seen, I'm going to sound very cliched. Going to say that James Rolfe is one of the best as far as going for entertainment value. Nostalgia critic Doug Walker used to be. He's kind of been going downhill as of late. But as for critics overall, and like movie critics and whatnot, of course, Siskel and Ebert. I'm sorry, the internet reviewers aren't going to reach that same level. Worst reviewers, though, that's pretty simple, and this is going to sound very similar to a lot of people's list. There's NC-17, there's Chris Bores, of course, there's the Game Dude. There's Retro Gamer 3, also known as the Gaming Rapist. There's Jay Friedan, or the RPG Fanatic. They're all horrible at reviewing stuff, reviewing video games and whatnot. Question number 2. What is the worst movie and/or anime, and why? And you actually rephrased it. What is the worst movie or anime you have seen, and why? Worst movie I've seen, and I'll just go with one over the past few years, has got to be Wanted. And to tell you the truth, this was a toss-up between X-Men Origins Wolverine and Wanted. But I realized that, okay, I can see why some people might have enjoyment from X-Men Origins Wolverine, despite the fact that it's a horrible, horrendous movie. I can see why people can enjoy that, but Wanted, I didn't see anything that saved it. So, that's got to be the worst movie I have seen in a long time, because Wanted is just downright horrible. As for anime, I'd have to go with something like Hamtaro, which actually got a lot of laughter out of a lot of people at one of the first conventions I went to, and I think I actually got Jenny Young Bosch to laugh at that as well. Question number 3. Which video did you have the most fun making?
Okay, I think I could also do the same thing over here. Okay, so I'm a fan of peanut butter sandwiches, and some people, I love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I like peanut butter banana sandwiches. But some people want to act like, peanut butter banana is a superior version of peanut butter and jelly because it's not as often as peanut butter and jelly. But that's not right, okay? Just because you put bananas in your sandwich does not mean that you're better at it. And some people want to put jelly and bananas in. That's not going to work out. I don't know if that's going to work out, too. But don't force me into eating both jelly and bananas at the same time. Yeah, peanut butter goes good with anything. You ever try a peanut butter and ketchup sandwich? Neither have I.
Wait, what in the fuck was that?
Yeah, the one with the peanut butter. The peanut butter sandwich one. It's not as much that I meant to make that video. It was more that we were just messing around on Skype. And that whole process was what was so much fun in it. Sitting there with people like Madison Skull and Supersonic 407 and Golden Wolf Studios and all of them, and sitting there just joking around and having the fun that we were having on Skype that night. That was hilarious. Number 4, who are your biggest inspiration to make videos? I guess if you had to say for the Let's Play community, for me trying to do Let's Plays, people like Nintendo Capri Sun, I really enjoy his Let's Plays, and you can obviously tell since he's already ripped them off once in one of my videos. As for the commentaries, I'd have to say people like Youngblood Fantasy 91 is one of my big inspirations for getting into commentaries. Because of the way he does his commentaries, I tried to get a style a little bit similar to his, where it's a more intelligent style, but still with humor. And then there's also Madison Skull, MSkull01, and he's the other huge influence for me in my commentaries. I try to really blend the styles between Madison Skull and Youngblood when I do a commentary, and at least that's how it was when I first started. Now it's kind of just developed into my own style and how I do things. But when I first got started doing commentaries, it was definitely trying to get a mixture between Youngblood Fantasy 91 and Madison Skull. Now, there's a lot of other commentators out there who I watched, and they got me interested in doing commentaries, but these are the two who had the biggest influence on my style and the way I do them. As for my reviews, it's less of a specific person or persons inspiring me to do it, and more of a fact that it's how people view internet reviewers now, and how they've all got to be this one way, so I'm trying to do something a little bit different. Not as many jokes, but still throwing a few in there, and just straight up reviewing what I'm doing. The next set of questions comes from Master TP10. And question number 1 is Pokemon or Digimon?
Digimon are the champions. Digimon, digital monsters. Digimon are the champions. Change into digital champions to save the digital world.
That should answer your question right there, Master TP. I prefer Digimon over Pokemon any freaking day of the week. Number 2, favorite villains? Let's see here. I'm gonna go with Kefka from Final Fantasy VI is definitely one of my favorite villains of all time. He's, in my personal opinion, the best villain in the Final Fantasy series and the whole segment of Final Fantasy. He's my favorite villain. Let's see, Medusa from Soul Eater is a fantastic villain. I like her attitude and the way she does things, her intelligence. I enjoy her. I'm not entirely sure which other ones I want to put on there. So, next question is, knowing that you attend an anime convention, have you met any abridgers, i.e. Little Karibo, Takahata 101, Megami 33, Shadybox, etc., and if you did, who? Sadly, no, I have not. At the A2F, we've attempted to try to get people like Little Karibo and Team 4 Star there, but mostly due to like scheduling conflicts, it hasn't happened yet. And I don't have the time to be able to go to a bunch of different conventions and meet them. I've got friends who've met different abridgers and everything, but sadly I haven't had a chance to yet. I would like to, because I'm a huge fan of people like Little Karibo and Takahata and Shadybox and stuff. I would like to meet them someday, and hopefully, eventually I'll be able to. Question number 4. If you had a ton of money, what would you do with it? I would take that money, pay off what bills I have, pay off the car, pay off my house, and then I would invest it in stuff like mutual funds. I wouldn't just go off and waste what money I got if I had a ton of money one day. I wouldn't do that. That's not how I would play it, because, you know, if you waste the money, what'd you do with it? You wasted it, literally. It's best to do things like investing and saving it and letting it build, because if you can get into some good mutual funds with compound interest, man, you'd be doing good. And obviously that's something that, to explain compound interest and everything, that would take a while, so I'm not going to do it now. Question number 5. What is question 5 exactly? Question 5 is question 5. There is nothing other than question 5. Question 5 will always be question 5, because that is what question 5 is, and you make question 5 to be question 5. Did you get that? Next set of questions comes from the Rello99. Number 1, who inspired you to do commentaries? Like I said before in a previous question, or like I said before, Michael Schomer's questions, Youngblood Fantasy 91 and MSkull01 were the biggest influences. Number 2, how do you like my videos? They're pretty good. They're some of the better on the text commentaries. At least I think they are. Yeah, I can tell you, you're better than SP4 Mew. Definitely better than SP4 Mew. It's, oof. I am not the biggest fan of text commentaries. I honestly prefer it when the commentator's using their voice, but I understand that some people don't have the microphone to be able to do that or something. Or that's just their style. It's just I don't get as into the text commentaries because then I have to sit there and read, and a lot of times when I'm watching commentaries, I'm sitting at work and I've got my phone playing them and I'm trying to do two things at once. I'm listening to the commentary while working on my stuff and I can't read what they're saying in a text commentary. Number 3. Will you continue your Let's Plays, and if so, what other games might you plan on playing? Yes, I intend to continue my Let's Plays. I intend to continue the Castlevania Let's Play, at least. The Fallout 3 one, or the Fallout New Vegas that I had on the old channel. No, I'm not going to do that one anymore. I was kind of getting bored with it, to tell you the truth. I was not enjoying doing that Let's Play, so I'm not going to continue it. I'm going to let it die with the 3 episodes I got. The Castlevania Let's Play, I'm going to try to get another video up this weekend, hopefully. And in the future, like I've already stated before, I intend to do a Batman Arkham City. I would like to do Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm also thinking I might try to do a Persona 4 Let's Play. And that's all we got from the Rolo 99.